I think this is short-sighted, bureaucratic. It appalls, it just defies description that people with the present drug danger in this country and growing. I've had people tell me, medical doctors, in the last 48 hours that heroin's peddled openly on the streets in San Antonio near high schools with the great danger. And I've had another medical doctor tell me that he'd never seen as much drug peddling as he'd seen in certain Texas cities. Now, with this danger around us, to go close up the one big institution we have for treatment and attempts to reclaim these people is a governmental action that it just is. It's intolerable in an educated country. It'd be intolerable in a backward country. This is just inexplicable.
And all of these things, we're doing our very best to prevail upon the Nixon administration to see that it's terribly important that this treatment center for narcotics patients be kept alive.
With all the power you're mustering, you must feel it's very important. Why?
Well, I think it's just extremely important. I think this would be the worst time in the world for us to curtail the limited treatment facilities that we have for narcotics patients. Narcotics is becoming an ever more insidious problem in American life. This is the only treatment center that the Public Health Service has anywhere west of the Mississippi River to treat narcotics patients. We have just undergone an extensive conversation with people at Gatesville, at the boys' school. More and more, narcotics is becoming a problem in the high schools. And we're trying to arrange so that the youngster who is caught up in the coils of this terrible thing won't be sent to Gatesville, where they can't really do any good for him, but will be committed instead to the Public Health Service hospital, where under the care of doctors and physicians, medical care and psychiatric care, something can be done for him.
Well, it's one of great sorrow. I had the great privilege of knowing General Eisenhower personally, of having cooperated with him on some projects. He was very helpful to me in my first campaign. I've counseled with him on occasion. I think it's not only a great personal loss, of course, it's that for me, but I think it's a great loss to the country. Here's a man who was a great general, a great field commander, at once a great statesman, a great political leader, and I think our nation's going to miss him sorely.
It was a bit of family bad luck that made this house in Denison, Texas, the birthplace of the 34th President of the United States. Dwight David Eisenhower's grandfather had settled near Abilene, Kansas, after traveling west with the wagon trains in 1878. It was in Abilene that Ike's father began a general store. The failure of that business venture caused David and Ida Stover Eisenhower to move to Denison. The railroad has figured heavily in the history of Denison, and it figured in Ike's early life, too. His father was working as an engine wiper at a railroad roundhouse when Dwight David, the third of 7 sons, was born October 14, 1890. This story-and-a-half white frame house in which Ike was born sits at 201 East Day Street, right next to the MKT railroad tracks. The many-gabled house has been restored and made into a shrine. Young Dwight David actually only lived here the first few months of his life. In the spring of 1891, the Eisenhower family moved back to Abilene, Kansas, where Ike grew up. But nonetheless, this house is important to Denison and to Texas. The small plot is neatly fenced off and is operated by the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department as a state park. Some 40,000 people stopped here last year alone, and likely that number will increase greatly as many more come to the source of one of our country's great men. Teal Salon, reporting from Denison, Texas.